Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of John and Jacob's Pop Culture Podcast. As always, I'm Jacob,
I'm John.
and today we got a lot of news that's actually going to be the main focus of this episode. But before we get to that, we got pretty giddy the end of last episode talking about our picks for this week. I'm so excited to talk about Well, I'm more excited to talk about one than the other.
Yes.
And the first one, because thankfully we did this in the order that the movies came out of.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes.
So the first movie is Daredevil,
Yes.
not
The Ben
a
Affleck.
Ben Affleck Daredevil. How did you feel rewatching this?
I guess about the same.
Yeah.
Again, when I was watching it as a young adult, it was we only had a little bit of superhero stuff, so it was like, you know what, love what you got because we don't have anything else.
Right.
Going back though,
Mhm.
it's like I feel like the early 2000s had a fascination with leather
Yes,
because all the superheroes were clad in nothing but leather.
pretty much.
And with the scenes of even putting on the leather, it's
Uh-huh.
like I feel like some fetishes are
It was,
coming out.
you know what? If you think about it too, you want to go back to 1995 with Batman Forever. Like, yeah, it was
See,
rubber, but
it's
but you know what? Clooney's cape in Batman Forever. I'm sorry, Batman and Robin. That was leather.
yeah.
That was a weird context of the cape, but yeah, all leather suits. Uh,
Um, Ben
Electra's just
Affleck blind was not the best acting when he didn't have the glasses on. Like it just comes very across very much that he's
yeah,
like, dude, this is not good.
he's looking directly at people when he's talking to them. He's not like
He's not trying to put an ear to them or anything, but he's
yeah.
like staring right at you, but his eyes, yeah,
That's one
it
thing
was.
the series does much better is in the Charlie Cox's acting department of acting blind. But I think the powers too show off better in the series than they did the movie. Like the movie was kind of cool when they did
I
the
liked
radar scenes.
I liked the radar
And
sense. I liked the rain. Like
the rain,
that was
but
very cool.
but he does this thing like so they did it in the Netflix series too because it's a staple of the comic books. Like he can hear a person's heartbeat, and that's how you can tell if they're lying or telling the
Yep.
truth. And I remember there's scenes in the Netflix, or it's no longer the Netflix series, in the Daredevil series, where he uses that to his advantage and he plays it off well as a good lawyer because he thinks about a question that
Yeah.
would get them.
To
But
stumble, yeah.
and the first like Ben Affleck hears that guy's heart, like so there's like a
Are you
rapist.
telling the truth? Yes, I'm telling the truth. Well, justice will find out.
Yeah,
Why? That's a horrible lawyer.
I mean, he was terrible.
I did like. I forgot that. What's his name plays Murdoch and
Oh, Foggy Nelson, John Favreau.
yeah, John Favreau's like
You know,
streamed through this superhero
and he
Star
was
Wars.
Like, he was like, you know what? If I ever direct a superhero movie, it's not going to be like this. And hey, he hit his first one out of the park.
Yeah.
First one.
Oh
And
yeah,
Star
Iron
Wars.
Man.
And
I mean,
Star Wars.
yeah. I mean, he honestly started the whole
He
MCU.
did.
Maybe that Daredevil was kind of like, now I know what to do with this and not what to do, you know. And then
Hmm.
so I didn't like Kingpin.
Oh, you don't like
I
Michael Clark Duncan?
No, I didn't. I like, and it wasn't even him.
Uh,
It was the way that they probably had him play it.
yeah.
But his interpretation of it, now that we got,
Vincent D'Onofrio.
yeah, D'Onofrio's
Yeah.
version of it, it's
Yeah.
like now we have something to compare, and I'm like,
Yeah, so I had comparisons too while I was watching this for sure. I got to disagree on that one though because he looks like it's him and then Colin Farrell as Bullseye. They look like they're having a ball filming this thing. Like they just told him they're like Michael Clark was like, you see, he was a big dude, so they're just
yeah,
like, hey man, with your stature, do you ever think you'd want to play like the villain that would like tie the woman to the train tracks with the sniveling husband?
oh
He was
yes,
like, yeah, I would like to do that. Well, man, we got a role for you. And then they came across Colin Farrell the same way. Hey, man, you want to do the same thing, but you keep your Irish accent. And he was like, oh yeah, like because those two. Okay, okay. So Vincent, I'm sorry, Kingpin. Like, okay, you could kind of buy, you could buy that this guy was hiding when he was the Kingpin.
yeah,
Vincent D'Onofrio, not so much, because there's always something off about his.
Yeah,
And not to say that's bad, but if you were to like, who's the kingpin in the room, and you'd be like, well, it's probably that dude.
yeah.
Uh, Duncan was just like, I'm a businessman. He could play it off as like, yeah, I'm just a legitimate businessman. But
Yeah,
then Bullseye comes in as the most like it's like I am an assassin because when they first introduce him and he gets the phone call in the pub,
yeah,
which is a bit yeah, I like the scene because he's throwing the darts
yeah.
while
As is
drinking a
strict.
beer,
Yeah, yeah,
and he's got his beanie on,
yeah.
and then a patron makes fun of him, and he turns around and he pulls out that paper clip and then like sticks him in the throat. Oh, but first he takes off his hoodie and has the
And he's like,
bullseye there. You know, I know it's not like the best interpretation of that character because I forget the actor who did him in Daredevil, which is a much more
yeah,
complex character for
yeah.
sure. But man, for a little bit, um, just because of the fun he was having and just hamming it up, chewing the scenery, for a little bit, Colin Farrell's interpretation of Bullseye, he was in like
How
my
did
top
he?
favorite.
How did he act? The one thing that gets me is he's like, "Oh, I'll do it, but I want a suit." But then he
Yeah.
comes out dressed exactly like how he's been dressed.
Just I
There's
think
no suit. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah. I think they let that open too. Like at some point, like, hey, you do this job right, like you get the suit. Or if there was a sequel because he lived at the end, he would get the suit. But there was no sequel. But before we spin off into the actual spin off,
Yeah.
because this is where we had Jennifer Garner, Electra,
Yep.
leather. Like, oh man, God bless her. Like this is something. At least like she. It's kind of like uh, Ryan Reynolds meeting his wife on the set of Green Lantern,
Yeah.
because that's where Garner and Affleck met
Yep.
for
Yep.
Daredevil. And something good came out of it, right? Because her, they just don't give her anything. Like she, so I think this is a staple of the early 2000s, just for heroines in movies. Because I'm going to talk about this in Electra as well. Is that she's like, I'm tough, I'm a badass, and I mean she has skill, but then the last third of the movie, like she forgets her skills. And I mean, sure, like Bullseye is a guy that can take anything and like make a
And
weapon
throw
out of
it.
it.
But then when does he become like a hand-to-hand combat expert
Yeah,
that then can defeat her?
right.
It made no sense.
But I love too that he used his coat. Like she's like trying to stab him with the side. And he's like, he's got this.
The whole movie, he's always like
Yeah,
acting like it's a cape. It's like,
because
what are you doing?
they do sound effects with the cape. Did you catch that?
Yes.
Like, so when he kills Electra's father, he stands up. He's like Bullseye, huh? And then he flags it, but he goes, it makes like this snake kind of sound,
When Batman does his cape.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
yeah.
And then this is how much he's loved chewing the scenery. There's a scene before he fights Elektra, and which this is a staple too of early 2000 movies. It's like, how do we get to the climax? I don't know. Just put them somewhere and they'll fight. Yeah, so he's like climbing the rooftops, and there's a rat that scares by the ladder. He like hisses at the rat. He's like, and the rat scampers. Oh, I love it. I loved every second of it. Like, is it good? No, but I
Yeah.
had a lot of
I
fun
feel like
watching it.
I feel like you have more of a guilty pleasure
Oh
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
movie than I do.
Oh, for sure. For
Like,
sure.
I'm good probably watching that movie for another 5 years, whereas probably next year you'd be like,
I,
I'm watching
I'll
Daredevil
probably, well,
again.
that's the thing. There's the one. Did you watch on HBO Max? Is that the one?
Yes.
So, did you ever know there was a director's cut of that movie?
Oh.
There is. There is a director's cut of that movie. It's not like Zack Snyder's Justice League, where this thing is miles above, and it was a masterpiece this entire time. It's a little bit better, but only a little bit. But it's kind of the same issues, like if you took Batman v Superman
Yeah.
and that extended cut, like yeah, it's a little bit better, but it's still the overall movie
Yeah.
has fun because the way they find out who Kingpin is, like it's not just like Bullseye being like, oh, here's Will Smith's the Kingpin, like he just
Yeah.
flat out tells them. Like there's a separate court scene slash like investigation that he's doing, and Coolio is in the movie.
Oh.
And he's the guy. He's like the guy that kind of directs him to Wesley, which was Kingpin's handyman,
Oh
right
yeah.
hand man,
Yep.
who was much more menacing again in the Daredevil
Oh
series.
yeah.
Where this one he was just whiny, like he's like, you
Yeah.
can't talk to Kingpin, like
Yeah.
you know.
He's
But
like a sniveling little.
yeah,
Yeah.
but there's something that links them together, and that's how they find out who Kingpin is through that
Okay.
instead of the other way around. Because that's how the cops find out. was not just at the end when after Kingpin and Daredevil fight, and he's like, "Oh, I can hear the sirens from here. Oh, the word's out on the King." Like that dialogue is still there, but it makes sense when you
I
see the
got you.
extended cut. And I'd only seen the extended cut like a few years ago,
Yeah, I don't think I've
but
ever
it's the
seen it.
one that you can buy like in those the Blu-ray bins, like
Oh, yeah,
$5.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
usually the one they sell, and it's I think that one's R-rated, I think, but it's not. It's kind of like a soft R. Like I don't even think
What
there's.
happened? Like they just randomly threw in like a sex scene. Like
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
like
even
those.
remember, it, and I was like,
Yeah,
what
there's
is
two. Oh,
this?
and that's the great thing too. After that sex scene, so she leaves him. She leaves him the envelope of the party to go to.
Yep.
He already has that. Did she give him a second one? You know
Oh,
what I
you're
mean? Like he
right.
like turns around, he wakes up, and then she's gone, but on the pillow she left that
So
card.
she must have left the second one. Yeah, because right,
You're like,
because
you will
I
come to
keep
this
saying
party.
happy because Mer,
Foggy.
Foggy, yeah, he's like, oh, look at this, and they read the whole thing, and that's
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, it's entertaining. It's a mess of a movie, but it's entertaining. To
yeah,
me,
yeah,
it is entertaining.
and as much as I'm griping about it, it wasn't that bad to watch. Like it was. The soundtrack actually kept me
Yes,
more in it than the actual
I
movie.
listened to that soundtrack
Like, oh
to
man, I forgot about Seether.
yeah,
Like, oh
Sears on there.
yes,
Who else?
oh the stupid fight scene,
Yeah,
or the I'm sorry, the training scene for Bring Me to Life.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was
Oh,
like,
she's fighting Sandbags.
yes,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was great too. The other one, like she's like flipping around and yeah, because
it, it, and oddly enough, the songs that they chose actually was that was probably actually the best thing
yeah,
because it paralleled in the movie what was going on.
I yeah,
So
I'd say it's the same thing with the Suicide Squad, not the newest with James Gunn one, but the one before that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because that soundtrack, the movie, I'm gonna put it on the same level. It's just kind of entertaining popcorn and fun
See,
for me.
okay, so on that level, I actually will watch the Suicide Squad a couple times a year.
Okay,
I like the movie. I hate the
I do too.
Joker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like the
I
movie.
do, and I will say I do like it. Like I didn't hate it. Like people like Jared Leto. I felt so bad. Yeah,
Get crazy,
yeah, you know, right? You brought
bruh.
things to my mind. It's like, dude, it's okay. It's okay. You'll be, yeah, yeah. His laugh. You're like, are you a seal? Like, what did you swallow? But yeah, just okay. So
Yeah.
on that
Okay.
fun, entertaining note, to a
Yes.
movie so bland, I told you this earlier. I'm gonna forget about it until I go back and watch this episode, and be like, oh yeah, we did choose Electra. Okay, because Electra is the next
Yes.
one.
Go ahead.
So it's the spin-off, not a sequel, just a spin-off. So Electra dies in the Daredevil movie.
I feel like I need to say this before you even go.
Uh,
Keep in mind, Jennifer Gardner did not want to do this movie.
oh, she didn't.
She did not want to do it. They helped because she signed on for Daredevil. She signed on for an Elektra movie. She did not like the way that Daredevil went, but they were holding her rights to act, to do anything.
Okay.
So she had to do. She was contractually obligated to do Elektra.
Okay.
So now go ahead.
So it's
That
this,
explains a lot. Like
it sort of does. Yeah, this movie sucks. I'm not gonna go around it. It sucks because it's not even the so bad. It's good. Like we said last time, we found a drinking game for. I didn't do the drinking game. I was
no,
playing
you'd
it.
be trashed,
You would be like,
and not just playing the game, just bored. Like
yeah, it's like, because that's what happened, man. I got bored. Excuse me. But that's the funny thing is, it's only an hour, maybe
39
40.
minutes.
Yeah.
Trust me, I kept clicking.
You kept clicking.
Hour 39 minutes, and that's
I think I did too. I think I did too. I was like, how about we're only 25 minutes in? What? Okay, because with her, so okay, they fast this.
yeah,
How she gets brought back to life. Like they
yeah,
talk about this opening scene. They talk about the hand. This was the first time the hand was introduced
yeah,
in
and
mainstream
sticks.
and stick. Which okay, that is one positive thing. I'll start with one
Yeah,
solid positive thing. Terrence Stamp
yeah,
as Stick, General Zod.
yeah,
Anytime he was on screen, I'm like, can we just keep it with
yeah.
this dude?
That was
He
good.
was the worst freaking mentor. One of the worst
Yeah,
I've ever seen. But at
yeah,
least he was the entertaining part. He's gonna be the thing I remember.
yeah,
And Garner because like Again, I feel so bad. The actress, I think, actually does a decent job with Electra and the Daredevil and
Oh
the
yeah,
Defender series. I can't remember her name. But anyway, so with this, they're going to be the two things I remember because the plot of this movie is like she gets brought back to life and like,
yeah.
oh yeah, we brought you back to life. How? Through this ancient martial arts technique. How? It doesn't matter. It's somewhat
We
magic.
held our hands over you
They
and we brought
did.
you back to life.
They did. And maybe Evanescence. That would have been a perfect time to play that song.
Yeah,
That's a missed opportunity.
yeah,
But anywho, so she's brought back to life, and then through this weird thing, like so it was said in Daredevil like how her mom supposed well her mom had died before this point, but now you
yeah,
figure out how she dies in this movie. I'm gonna freaking spoil it.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm saving you guys because one of the main villains of this movie turns out to kill her mom, but you don't know that. That's like one of the twists of the movie. And I'm gonna put twist very loosely because it did make me go, oh, I was like, eh. That and another twist I'll put on a smaller twist that had much more ramifications. So she gets brought back to life, and then she gets trained by Styx, who is also the mentor of Daredevil.
Yeah.
In the least in the comics and in the show, they don't really seem to know each other in this. He's not like, oh, I taught. Remember,
Yeah, no, yeah, no. They because even when they met in Daredevil, they
yeah,
were completely like, I don't know who
and
you are. So
and in Daredevil. So there was that tease, almost kind of like in Batman Returns, where Catwoman was still soon to be alive, and then they did the same thing with Electra.
yeah,
Finds her necklace on the. He's like, he sees it. The music actually swells up. And you're like, oh, but she has that necklace the entire time. Now, supposedly, I'm pretty sure you find the scene on YouTube. There was a deleted scene with Ben Affleck. Like he showed up for a scene. I don't
uh,
know if it was beginning or end of the movie, but he showed up on a scene. I think it's because at that point they were romantically involved, and she
uh,
was stuck, like you said. He's like, "Honey, I'm so sorry. Like, I'll do a cameo. Like,
yeah,
I'll do something." Smith, I talked to with Kevin. He's like, "Yeah, I should probably do a cameo, dude."
yeah,
So anyway, well, the point of the story is she gets brought back to life, and then she has like one of the best assassins ever. I'm calling BS on that. So she has this. They do some weird graphical things in this movie. Like, so the first target she kills is this probably he's dirty-handed
yeah,
businessman, and he hires pretty much like a SEALs team to protect him.
yeah.
But she's taking him out as any comic book character does one by one. And then she gets to the main guy, and he's talking to her, and apparently the legend that goes with her is that before she kills you, she whispers in your ear. Okay, like a little calling card. That's fine. So they do that. She like whispers. I see it's so forgettable. I
Yeah.
don't know if she whispered in her. But the choice is like he's talking to her. He's actually facing the fireplace, sitting down the entire time. He's not faced her. He knows she's in the room. And then she goes up the camera and she whispers in his ear. And he's got a glass of probably Scotch bourbon in one hand, but he's got a handgun in the other, just, trying to defend himself at some point. So she does this weird thing, whispers in her ear. He freaks out, but instead of like the camera, like maybe showing her side going to the back of him, that's it. She like fast forwards. She starts back and then she whispers in his ear, goes back and comes forward again. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Like, and it wasn't like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, why did you do that? Um, that happens a couple times in movies. Like,
The worst one was um when they first come to get the girl and her father, and she gets
uh,
hit by the darts,
yeah.
and then she
Well,
gets hit by the darts,
yeah.
then fast forwards, and then all of a sudden she's not hit by the darts. It's like
I
that makes no sense whatsoever.
I had to Wikipedia this because I was baffled myself. So apparently, when being brought back to life, they can see visions of the future. So
But if you got hit with the darts, how are you seeing the future?
I don't know.
Like, you see what I'm
Um,
saying?
yeah,
She should
that's the
have.
only thing I can say.
She should have said, "Hey, run."
"Oh,
Then she saw a vision of her getting hit by the darts. Then went back and fought.
okay." And this is nothing too. These guys are like world trained assassins, right? You want to bring a gun, okay? But they bring in darts.
Tranquilizer
They're
darts.
done. Or nail it. It was almost like a nail gun.
Yeah.
Like, just bring a gun.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are good enough at this. You could probably work the crime scene to like in your favor.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, we gotta be ninjas and we gotta be cool and like whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's another thing too. Whenever someone dies in this, one of the bad guys dies, they're a puff of smoke.
Well, they were demons. That
Oh.
yeah, they did say she did say something like, "Oh, they're demons." Like it was a very
Yeah.
off cut
but they don't even look. They look normal. It's not
Yeah.
to a point where their eyes glow or something. Oh, another thing too. So in that same scene you're talking about, the she kills one guy. The second guy who you talking about shoots her. She has him incapacitated against the wall. Dude breaks his own neck. Dude,
Yes.
how do you do that? He's not even like it's not like he took his
Yeah,
hand
he's
and
like, I'll
twist.
never talk. And then goes like that and just
Yeah.
snaps his neck.
Cause
And he's dead.
you know that, do you remember that old Looney Tunes joke with like Daffy Duck where he like puts all like the explosive gunpowder in him and then to one up Bugs like he explodes and the whole audience laugh they cheer and he's like right his like, spirits rising to heaven but Bugs Bunny is just like Daffy they love it they want more and as he's rising he's like yeah but I can only do it once like yeah how do you can't like how did the hand teach him like
Yeah.
okay like I'm gonna show you one time you like whatever
We're gonna watch Bert.
yeah.
Now, when Bert snaps his neck, this is the only time you get to watch it. But
And
then,
then,
but again, yeah.
I don't know. But okay, so
So
these
bad.
those guys, I'm not going to remember the names of the hand assassins that go after them.
Did they even say them?
I don't think they did. But there's two really cool ones. I want actually them all to be cool, but there, to me there was only two standouts, and it wasn't even
Yeah.
the main guy. It's
No.
the tattoo guy.
And
'Cause
that
at
that
least
was. I was like, that character could do like I enjoyed that.
I did some digging on him too when I was on Wikipedia, and I was seeing like how is this guy connected to the comics because his name is just Tattoo. There is a mutant in X-Men that is named Tattoo. It's not like the same powers that guy had, but that was like the closest thing Wikipedia I could
Okay.
like find to that character. And then the other one was the girl, was the one that had the kiss of death.
Okay.
Like she was Typhoid Mary. Like her name was Typhoid, but she's
Oh.
just Typhoid Mary. And it was also another mutant in the comics. So you got like two mutants. I'm gonna put it in quotes because you
Yeah.
couldn't read it. But they were like the standout because the other spoiler or twist in the movie is the girl, the older girl, the Typhoid Mary girl. Oh, so Electra is protecting this girl and her dad because this girl is the treasure, as she's called, right? Wonder Woman Junior is what I'm gonna call her. So this girl can like she's a martial arts prodigy, all this stuff. And I'm like, well, okay, what other abilities do you have except being really good at that? I mean, don't get me wrong, she's really good, but her other powers, like she has this little chain necklace whip
Yeah.
thing, and so it can turn gold,
And that yeah,
and it
she
like
like
there's a
puts an energy through it.
through it, and then but that's the only time that
Yeah,
happens.
but it
And
doesn't explain.
it doesn't do anything. And then this is the other twist in the movie that the typhoid girl was once the treasure. And before she kills her, she was like, I was the treasure once. I like being replaced. So I'm like, wait a minute. What are the stakes of this treasure thing? Like, does it, because they're like, that was a big thing. The whole point of that movie was like, hey, we can't lose, the hand is like, we can't lose the treasure for another generation, right? You have one. You have a treasure from like 2 seasons ago. And what? And she's way more powerful than that girl?
Yeah.
Because she just kisses someone. She just blows a kiss at someone, and they start getting sick.
Yeah.
She was probably the most
Then
powerful.
again, for being a treasure and being the kiss of death, she doesn't actually kill anybody, and she kisses quite a few people.
And she kisses quite a few people. Almost like poison ivy.
Wait, they're both girls, aren't they?
She kissed. Yeah. Okay. This freaking crap. Okay. Thank you. So Electra gets kissed by her at one point in the film. It's actually when they first come up. By the way, these villains, all of them together, their screen time, I think I calculated. They're like 15 minutes in the movie. You thought like Heath Ledger was only in 30 minutes of The Dark Knight, which Dark Knight is a 2.5 hour movie. But that man left his mark at the time he was in. These guys, I'm not gonna remember them for as shit. I'm gonna remember the tattoo guy. I remember Typhoid. I'm sorry, but this is starting to like make me more angry. Like the more I'm talking. So them I'm gonna remember because they were like the ones who could do something, right? So their leader is the son of the head of the hand. And he's got super speed. Cool, fantastic. He could probably shred through. He's like Quicksilver with katanas.
Yeah.
Shred through. But he does it and then stops in front of Electra, and then they do their like little sword fight. I'm like, no, that's not how your powers work. Your power is you're in one end of the hallway, she's the other. You zoom past her and cut her in half. Okay, and then this is
even how he dies.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm gonna go get her, and then runs past Electra. Why wouldn't you kill her? Then go like no, but he's gonna run right past her, and at that point, she now has superhuman speed and jumps up and size him.
Okay. Oh, this is man. I laughed so hard at this. Probably the most unintentional laugh in a superhero movie. I thought it meant like MCU humor. I'll laugh at this. However, So when she kills the typhoid girl, it's supposed to look cool when she throws her side through the
Oh
hedge
my
maze.
god.
The sound it makes when it connects with the girl's head, thunk, and you're just like, bullshit. Like,
Like I
how?
felt like
She knew, like, precognition or whatever. I'm like, even Bullseye would have been like, no.
I feel like when that side was going through the cornfields too,
Uh,
like I'm waiting for a character to be like Bugs Bunny, like sitting there tapping his foot, looks at his watch, is like,
exactly.
"Come on, when's it gonna
It
like?"
goes for like, I swear,
It's
it's
like
like,
miles through a
yes.
cornfield. It
And then
just keeps
she and
going
then
and
she gets to
going.
the girl super fast. And then so the tattoo guy was cool because he had these animals on his
Yes,
body. He has a
that are
wolf
tattoos.
and he had snakes. That was
Yeah.
cool. But so the way she killed him, this was weird when she kills him. So she snaps his neck, but before she snaps his neck, she's like, "Huh, nice trick. I've seen that before." Where was it? When did you see this before? Is there more people with magical tattoos running around? Because if so, you need to find that guy. The mythical tattoo artist.
Yeah.
That would be kind of a cool. There's a series for you. A guy that like contract kill, like he sends out contract kills, but like the people like he gives tattoos to, that's what they can do. Like
Oh.
something like anyway.
Yeah.
We'll iron out the details later. But anywho, so I don't even know how that works, but I didn't really care because it was cool enough for me to
Yeah.
be like, it's comic books, like whatever. And he was kind. I can understand like how she killed him because he's kind of like the glass cannon. Well, sort of. So he sends the wolf at the beginning, right? It
Yeah.
kind of pops out his chest, like it's that CGI, but it was like when it started coming.
A light's coming after us. Oh
Yeah,
no,
no.
it's a wolf.
Oh, and she whips it, by the way. That little girl like whips it one time, and like, oh, wolf's gone. Like, oh, that's so cool. Oh yeah, and then there's a big bulky guy he takes a shotgun. That was actually a cool scene
Yeah.
where he takes a shotgun blast to the chest,
Yeah.
and he brushes off the pellets like the buckshot and kills that dude. Oh no, he
Oh
didn't
come
kill that
on.
dude. But
Go ahead. Go ahead.
the tree falling
Yes.
off. So
How do you hit a tree with a stick and cut it in half? I don't care how if you're that strong, physics dictates if you hit it that hard and you're that strong, the tree would fall all over.
You know
You
what?
wouldn't cut it in half.
Right. The more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm thinking I've watched like the most bland Looney Tunes episode
Oh my
I've ever
God.
seen. Because once you hear it, like John's saying, the tree gets taken out. He starts walking towards the family. Electra's on top of the tree, and then it starts cracking like she's walking. And you'd think like he'd hear it and be like, "Oh, if I just take a few steps to the left or the right, like this thing will avoid me." But then he gets smashed, and I'm like, "Well, there's
Because
one cool
meanwhile,
character."
the daughter and the dad are crawling through an empty tree.
Yep.
Why? Get up and run. Run.
I don't
No. We're gonna climb through the tree, and he's. Oh my god.
Yep. And then there was the other dude who had the daggers. So I preface this.
He was the worst of them all. Like he literally was on the screen for 2 seconds.
He was. You're not. He's not joking.
You saw him walk down the hallway when they're like, "You have the contract," and then the next thing is he throws the dagger at her. She drops it or something.
Yeah.
He holds the dagger to the girl's throat.
And that's when you find the magical chain.
Yep.
And she slashes him with that.
And then Electra hits him with the knife, and that's it.
Yep.
Like, that's it.
Again, these guys have
2
minutes all together
Yeah.
on screen time, and then but that's the thing too. Like you gave them these abilities, and then Electra. So she's supposed to be like this master assassin. And I'm sorry, I just couldn't buy it. Like I could buy like doing a couple of contract kills, like in the beginning, except for the stupid whisper front, and then I'm gonna run back, and then I'm gonna kill you.
But not only that, but like the quote unquote love scenes, like with the dad, was all of a sudden
Yeah.
I'm gonna kiss you.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't
Why?
know. I don't know.
Like they're like, we
Oh.
have to have kissing in the movie, so
And this is the thing too. The mentor stick, like she gets frustrated sometimes. Bless you.
thank you.
And he takes her out every time. So
Yeah.
that's her weakness. That's
Yeah.
her kryptonite is blind guys, and she gets beaten by one every time.
Yeah.
But whatever. Like again, Terrence Stamp with General Zod.
Yeah.
He's like the one positive thing. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, he sucks as a mentor. As much as I'm
Yeah.
glad I like his work, he gives this like bull crap lesson of like I kicked you out, and then afterwards like she's like, was everything you kicked? Was it all a test? And he like plays stone face like, no, it wasn't. And he's like, yeah, it was. Like it was all just like, shut up. I hate those mentors. Like you can be You can be vague like Yoda. That's
Yeah.
perfectly fine because Yoda didn't like toss his like didn't throw his students bones. Like there was a point. Like when he tells Luke, "Don't go in the cave with your weapons. Leave your weapons," and then you found out, oh, because Luke's dealing with anger issues. Like, oh, probably shouldn't have taken that. But
Well, I mean, even that with Yoda, he's also like, do or do not, there is no try.
mhm,
If you have your mindset that you can do something, you can do it.
right,
So do it. Like it
this
yeah.
Sticks guy is like, he's like you like he was like, look, you have like so much rage, anger, hate, and all this stuff. I'm like, did she? Because she didn't really have that in the first movie until her
And then they
dad
threw an
died.
OCD.
Yeah,
Like randomly on all
random
this
shit
stuff, we're like,
OCD.
she's gonna have
I mean,
OCD.
it's
We're
fine
gonna
if
give
it,
you a scene of her rearranging her stuff
and she
and the
tells us,
vegetables and
yeah, but and it's fine if you want to have like that in there, but they didn't have it in Daredevil. So I'm like, why did you put it here?
again, it was what was the purpose of giving that? Because there was only a couple scenes that she does it.
Yeah,
So it holds no purpose on the way that she fights, the way that she cares, nothing.
no,
Nothing. They're like, oh yeah, she's got OCD.
yeah. Eh,
So, that being said, now do you understand why I was saying
yeah,
this is the worst? Like, I
yeah.
haven't, I watched Spirit of Vengeance once,
Mm.
but I guarantee you, at least with Nick Cage performing in it, it's 10 times better than this movie ever
Oh
was.
well, that's the thing. Cage is always entertaining, whether the movie's bad or not.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's
I'm
why the
trying to
world
think of a superhero movie that was worse.
that was worse. Well, I can think of, like I'm going back to like the old Superman movies, like Superman 4, Quest for Peace was terrible. Batman and
Is it
Robin
worse?
terrible. Oh yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
It's worse than Electra?
It's worse than Electra, and the only reason I say it
Oh, we're
because
going down this rabbit hole then.
well, the only reason I say it is because it is one of those so bad it's good movies. Um, but well,
I would watch Batman and Robin 10 times over Electra.
you could
I
have a
don't
lot more.
remember. I don't remember Superman, but I guarantee you that I would probably watch that over.
Or sadly, Superman Returns. Because the only thing I remember is
Oh, that was bad.
I remember when I saw it. We'll go on a slight tangent. I remember I saw it like opening weekend. And I was a teenager when the movie came out. So it was me and my three friends. We're all watching it, and our movie theater at the time. If they were long movies, which I think that one clocks in at like two. It's not 3 hours, but it's close. It's like 2:40 or 2:30, something like that. And they had to do an intermission in the middle. And I remember the three of us sitting there being like, this movie is so boring. But I mean, it was, when movie theaters were cheap, it was like maybe like $3 for like a matinee showing, like
Yeah.
five for a night. I mean, we stuck it out because we're like, well, we're halfway through. And it was
I
like,
remember
okay.
Kevin Spacey being
Yeah.
really good as Lex Luthor.
I like him as Lex Luthor. He's not my
Um,
favorite interpretation, but I do like his Lex because he's playing off the Gene Hackman Luthor.
So, all right. So there's Superman Returns.
Mhm.
I would take Green Lantern 10 times over Electra.
I think it runs into the same problem with Green Lantern and Electro for me. It's so bland, like it's copy paste. They have the same
You at least
issues.
have Ryan Reynolds giving it his all. Like that in
And
itself elevates
and
it.
he met Mike Lively, he met his wife, so there was something positive that came
Um,
from it.
and again, like that's where also I kind of push go because I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. So like
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah. But
yeah.
who's your favorite?
Hal Jordan.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
especially with like the whole parallax and all that. When he actually, not like what the movie
no,
did.
no, 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 no.
No.
Oh, which they man, I can only imagine that pissed you Green Lantern fans off so much. Like because you got the cloud going again. Oh, Fantastic Four. Maybe I put Fantastic Four in there.
No, I'd still watch that over this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Well, I think it's because it's more Sonic. Well, and Doom was really funny in that movie. Maybe Fan Four Stick.
Oh, I still have never actually watched that. Oh
Don't.
man,
Man,
I
that's tough. That's a tough one.
feel like I need to watch it now to see.
I don't know
We
if I
need to
would
come up with our list
the worst ones.
of the worst ones and count it down.
Like I could do five. I don't know if I could do.
We can get 10.
You want to get 10?
We can get 10.
Okay, at some point we'll do a top 10.
Yeah.
Worst. You know what? No, I don't want to save it for. We'll save it at some point. I was originally going to say do it for like the Halloween season because like all the dark bad stuff. So it would be like this is the dark side of movies, like of superhero movies or
Yeah.
something. But I don't know. I kind of want to save Halloween for more like horror themed
Yeah,
stuff.
We do like horror
Yep.
here on the John and Jacob
Yeah.
Pop Culture Pod. So it during October we're going to be hitting on it.
Yeah, there's a couple I can't wait to talk about when we get closer. And there's some celebrations of that. I know we're going off on a tangent. Now, once that Nick or us. So I'll be going to Disney World at the end of August.
Hmm.
They've already started. Like I guess the Magic Kingdom park more has like this kids Halloween kind of parade like after dark.
Oh,
It's not like Fantasia where the devil comes out like
oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
It's like it's safe I think to like bring like preschoolers too or something like that. But they already started playing the ads for and Halloween Horror Nights. I've already started playing the one like
Okay.
at the Universal. And and just closer to us, I got an ad for Boot Hall Fright Nights,
Oh,
which starts in September.
oh.
Do you ever go to Boot Hall?
No, again, my wife and kids hate. So
I,
like I am a lone
you
sailor
and
on that ship.
I think you and I could. Well, how do you feel about like the scare actors in general that come and pop up and be like, and you're like,
I'm fine with it.
okay, because I did it like years ago.
Because I
Um,
remember I used to do the hay rides
yeah, yeah,
where they would have like
that's one thing they do have. They do have a hayride. That's pretty
yeah,
cool to see. So I
then
don't
they
know.
would rev the chainsaw.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. What's
it's
funny
like,
is it's like when you go as an adult and you're in that hayride with a bunch of teenagers because like every a twig snaps from like one of the actors like moving around. And you're like it's just, but they get so into it. Oh, that's another thing is that just teenagers in general are the best horror movie audiences because they jump at everything.
oh yeah,
And guess I remember I saw Happy Death Day. Have you seen that film?
no,
That might be one of the ones I have you watch during
okay,
Halloween because I spoiler alert. My idea was just to have just depending on our comfort level because I don't know like what in horror you won't touch and I totally want to respect that. Um, there's because that one's PG-13, but I saw it opening weekend with a buddy of mine, and every jump scare
yeah.
they were like popcorn kernels being popped. They like jumped so high up. It was so much fun. Like I know I'd be like if anyone talks to like normal movies or like our superhero movies, I'm always like, oh, just why? But
Oh
in
no,
there,
yeah, yeah.
but in like
I
those
love
horror
being in the
movies,
good crowd of people like,
they're like,
oh crap, don't go in there.
yeah, yeah.
Don't, oh crap, I told you. Yeah, I
Which
love
speaking
it.
of which, Nope is out.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it,
no, either
but
have I. I'm interested though, especially after seeing like a little bit more of it. Because like again, like it went from like this kind of paranormal alien thing to like no, this it's an alien movie.
yeah.
So like it almost took some of the scare out of it watching it because I was like,
No.
okay, it's an alien movie. Don't get me wrong. Like I feel like it's more like a Signs.
Well, how do you feel about Signs in general?
I love
You know
Signs.
Signs?
Signs is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
Um, so there used to be a theater. I don't remember if you remember. Right across from Northwoods Mall, there was that dollar movie theater.
Okay.
So I I was really bored one summer.
Yeah.
There was nothing else to do. I
Yeah.
had my license. I saw Signs 15 times in the theater.
You actually just beat me up watching a movie in theaters about oh my gosh, 15 times?
15 times.
15.
Yeah. I fell asleep some of the time, but I went there and I would be like, yeah,
Well,
let's
you know
watch
what?
Signs again.
You know what? It's funny. I had something. So when I first moved here, it wasn't with the Dollar Theater. It's the new stadium or the new theater that's there in Northwoods. So I
Okay.
would go to Trident down the road, but for one reason or other, I had this huge gap in between classes, and I was like, I got nothing to do. Like, so, but the movie theater was right there, and it was a movie theaters a little bit. They actually when they started, they're actually still pretty cheap for considering like movie theaters now.
The wife was saying that.
Yeah,
And they got the seats that recline all the
yeah.
way back.
Yep. So I don't. It's tough getting our crowd to go to that one because where we go, it's
Yeah.
easier for people. However, and they serve alcohol there too.
Oh.
Uh,
Oh.
yep. I've sat through some where I'm just like, oh, I had this. But so my point being that story. So this is when Scream 4 came out, and so there
Okay.
was one afternoon. Again, I just had hours in between classes, and I was like, Scream 4's out. So I went and saw Scream 4. I saw Deadpool there a bunch of times. Not 15, but I saw Deadpool a lot. Uh,
Did you ever sneak from one movie to the other
you know
without
what?
paying?
You know what I did? I was a little kid, but it's when this is bringing up a memory. So a friend of mine, we watched the. Did you ever watch the Recess cartoon?
Yeah.
So the movie they had.
Yep.
Him and I go and watch this movie. we're having a good time. So it was my granny and then his his parents. They were watching another movie. The movie they were watching was it was actually a Jennifer Lopez movie. Darn it, what's the name of the movie?
Made in Manhattan.
I wanted to say Big Manhattan, but it's one Matthew McConaughey's in it. The Wedding Planner. The
Oh
Wedding
yeah,
Planner. That I we caught the ending of that, so we didn't sneak in. So you know, I've done double feature showings, but I paid for them. But I remember watching the end of that. It was a little kid and like rom coms. I'm like, this is the worst thing ever.
yeah. No, I was a teenager, and I think I went from Blade to Scorpion King.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
badass though.
I
What
think
a
I think
great.
well, I think it was yeah Blade 2, and then
What?
we like it was just one Scorpion King, and we did it. Then there was other one I can't remember. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah.
That's a great combo. It's much better than mine. It's leagues above mine. We went on a tangent, but
Yeah,
that's part for the
yeah.
show. But
So
it kind of feeds in to my
yes,
next bit of news, which so we're gonna skip on to this. I'm gonna take the realms. There are many realms. Take the helm for a little bit here. So I only have one um, comic book to cover for this week, but it's playing like I say, plays into the horror vibes a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. And that is the latest issue of Batman Detective Comics, which is issue 1026. And that is a great cover. This might actually be, even though it's just the regular cover, this might be one of my favorite Batman covers of any comic book. It's so cool. It's very operatic, which is kind of a theme for this book. The main writer on this book is Ram V, who is also working at Marvel. He is in charge of the Carnage series that's going on over there, and he's done some other. I can't off the top of my head. I know he's done more like horror kind of things. So this kind of feeds into his wheelhouse. So with this latest issue, Batman stumbles upon this group of criminals that are bringing in antiques and like priceless articles, and goes to stop them. But he notices like when he stops them, like he estimates like it'll take him 18 seconds. I'm sorry, but it actually took him 20 seconds. So they're kind of showing that Batman is getting older. Like he's not going through. Oh, there you are. Like, you know,
that's really interesting.
isn't it? But basically, so I was just getting to the plot of the book. So with this, Batman is like getting older. They're not like making him look like Ben Affleck older,
Okay,
but so he stops a group of criminals and he estimates it's going to take him 18 seconds, but it just ends up taking him 20. And he runs across Talia al Ghul
okay.
at the beginning of the comic. She kind of warns him about some kind of secret society coming in on Gotham, and you kind of see these guys play out. But
I was gonna say it looks a lot like the Coat of Owls, except red.
it has an opera theme to it. I think that's like the main style they're going towards is because there is an opera that Bruce was supposed to go to, but again, it shows like the seat held for Bruce Wayne, but he's not there.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the name of the opera. But in it, there's the villain of that piece is a bat demon looking thing that kind of plays
Oh.
into this. Because so Batman fights off this zombie looking creature that he kind of thinks like these. So this group of criminals was like bringing in antiques and like valuable items and stuff like that, and that is what he's thinking is coming from this, or what turned that person into like a zombie type of thing. But he's also having nightmares, which involve that bat demon. Kind of think of it like in Batman v Superman when he had the nightmare when he goes to his parents' grave, like his mom's grave, and that
Yeah,
bat thing popped out. Kind of like that.
the man bat.
It does look like Man Bat. It's not him, but it looks like him. But it
Oh, man
yeah.
bat.
God, I was thinking. I know this is another rant. I was thinking of. I woke up one morning and I was just thinking of Bane quotes in my going like all. He's like, "The streets will run around with us." He says, "I'm the credit cards reckoning." Like,
I don't, what is his name? Ted? No,
Todd.
Todd. I will exact vengeance on Todd.
Whose name is Ben now, Todd? I love that. I mean, some people could be mad. It's like, I'm like, but that series is for comedy. Like,
Yes,
but
it's for comedy and it's for adults. It
and
is not
no,
meant
no,
for
no.
kids.
The season three's coming out real soon.
Yeah.
But oh, anyway, Kim Dodger. Oh, I love it. And and he has a mug. It says "Caffeine is my reckoning." I love it. I love. He is so adorable. I want to hang out. That's the thing. Like I know he's a terrible like supervillain, but I wouldn't mind just like chilling with this dude for a second. But anyway, so at the end of this issue, Batman has a nightmare about this bad demon, but it plays into. Do you remember what I loaned you, Dark Knight's Metal?
You haven't.
I thought I did. Wait a minute,
Mm-mm.
not the latest one, the one but not Heavy Metal, the one before that. There was Dark Knight's Metal, and then there was DC's Heavy Metal or Dark Knight's Heavy Metal. It was the one with the different variations of Batman. Like that's where the Batman Who Laughs comes from. I swore I let you
No.
borrow
So I
one.
borrowed the
It was a stack of comic books. It wasn't a trade paperback. They were like a stack. I could have sworn on it because I was like, man, because that's when I found out you loved heavy metal. I was like, dude, I think you're gonna like this. Well, I know I let you King in Black,
yep, and you let me the Court of Owls,
Four Vowels.
but that was I think those are the only two that
Could have sworn I let you.
I think
I
you
know
were
I have
waiting.
them.
I think you were waiting for something.
Well, okay, but anyway, bless you. But that's where that event where the Batman Who Laughs comes from, like his first appearance.
Yeah, I remember talking about it. And I was like,
Okay.
"Ooh, I want to get into it." And I
Okay.
want to say you were like,
Oh,
"Hey, we're right at the tail end of it. I
you
need
know
to get
what?
one more book, and
Yeah,
then
because I know I have an album. I need to get the when they do an omnibus for it. I want to get that and heavy metal, but it could tie into not the Batman Who Laughs, but there was like one behind him who was like pulling the
oh,
strings. So this might have some pull on that, which I like. Again, it's these writers like paying tribute to the past, not erasing it. And like, oh, that didn't happen. But they found an idea, a concept, much like Donny Cates does with Marvel. And again, instead of erasing it, like let's dive deeper. Like,
that's cool.
because with that villain, like he was cool, and you got to, they told you like who he was, like where he comes from, all this stuff, but they couldn't do like a deep study into this dude.
Yeah,
This might because it is a detective story, which is the you know the element I love of Batman the most. But again, it's got horror themes to it, which is really cool to see. So can't wait
sweet.
to read the rest of this. Yeah, again, the first issue just came out of this run. Just came out this week, and so I think actually the next issue of the we'll talk about next week is the next issue of just the standard the
Where did
Batman.
Soundwave go? Or they're still at?
They haven't said yet. They're
Okay.
supposed to say tonight though on
Oh,
their Facebook page.
okay.
They're supposed to reveal it tonight, and they're going to be closed this weekend, but they'll be back to running normal hours next week. That was kind of the thing too. I had to pick when I picked this up. The front of the store was closed, so we had to go through the back,
Oh,
which is kind of was interesting. But there was a good line of us that were just like it was the last day, and that's in that location. It was
that's
kind of
cool.
yeah, it was kind of like a bittersweet send off, but it's not like they close forever. They're going to be happier too because I think what they talked about is they definitely needed more space for their
Yeah.
stuff. So hopefully that was accommodating to them, and they can not only take in more customers but have more merchandise to sell or what they already have. They just need space to sell. So
Sweet.
yeah. All right. So that's all for comics. So now
News.
news, which is the
Yes.
rest of
This.
this
Yes.
segment. Man, there's so much to cover. So it was funny last week we didn't have anything really,
Yeah.
and lo and behold, it was like, well, next week you guys will have something to talk about
Yeah.
because Comic Con hit last weekend. I figured we go into DC first because sadly DC didn't have a lot of news.
Yeah.
Um, there is some really cool stuff. Well, half of the stuff I like. There's one half you don't like so much, but that's okay. Um, so we'll talk about that first, and then the MCU was just like, hey,
Yeah.
like all our stuff we've been wanting, like,
Yeah.
oh, well, here's everything for you guys, and we are like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now
Hey,
there's
where is this
direction.
going? They need to tell us. There
There
you
you go,
go.
and one great chunk too. It
Yes.
wasn't just like bits and pieces. It was like, here you guys go, like
Yeah.
here's everything, because they're
Yeah.
gonna lay
Here's the
out
next 4 years of Marvel.
pretty much, yeah. Next, yeah, that's crazy to think of too.
2026, right?
Yep,
Yep.
to the end of 2026. But for DC, it's the first one we'll talk about.
Okay.
Just to get it out of the way, it's something I'm looking forward to. You're not so much. Was we got a trailer for the new Shazam movie,
Oh yeah, no.
which I like. Did you saw the first Shazam?
Um, I didn't actually finish it.
Really?
It was so I was meaning to always watch it, and then we were at a resort in Myrtle Beach, and we rented it, and I got all the way up to like almost the final scene
Mm,
or like the final fight,
yeah.
and then the DVD started skipping,
Oh,
so I couldn't finish it. So I just didn't finish it. And
yeah.
I've had HBO. I've
Yeah.
had I
That was gonna be
just
my next point. It's just like, well, it's on HBO here. Or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just yeah it
Okay.
yeah
It is kind of to me it was one of the stronger DCU outings only because again they weren't sure where the universe was going at the time but they're like hey let's just tell and a family story too.
yeah
There's I will say that like one of my favorite shots of that movie is when he Billy I can't remember his last name but the kid who
Billy
becomes
Batson.
Batson thank you
Uh-huh.
he jumps off the roof
Yeah.
and then the light hit. That's a comic book image
Yeah.
if ever I'd seen one on
I
film.
think what part of it is I do not like the actor that's playing
Oh,
Shazam.
Zach,
Yeah.
dang nabbit. He was on Chuck. He was Chuck's main
Yeah.
actor.
I like I think he's fine as a comedic actor,
Mhm.
but like the fact that they had to and again, this is like first world issues, but the fact that he had to wear a muscle suit because he wasn't big
Oh, it wasn't a
enough.
muscle suit. No.
Yeah, it was.
Uh-uh. He keeps saying it's not
On the first one?
on the first one. I
Mm,
know. This is where people. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, this
I
is.
thought it was a
Yeah,
muscle suit.
he says it's not. And then the sequel too. You can definitely tell there's less of an argument for the muscle suit because
Yeah.
this one has less padding. Like I will say that one, like there's a fight for the like it is bulky in some area, but he swears up and down that it.
Sure as that. Sure as
but
that.
anyway, so this one has they're dealing with the Greek gods, which is interesting. Oh,
Only
and
two of them though.
um, but it's just interesting how those are taken here because I kind of took those more as Wonder Woman villains because she fights like Ares and
Yeah.
Hades. But then I don't know who the two are in this one, but they're played by Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Helen Mirren is in she's in the Fast and Furious movies now. I don't know if you knew that. Did you ever watch any Fast and Furious?
I watched up until what was the fifth one?
Oh, okay, the fifth one.
Like Rock came in, and
Yeah.
that's why I was like, "This is not
Was
Fast."
it Fast Five? Yeah, it was Fast Five.
Because
Fast Five.
again, to me, again, Fast and the Furious was about racing cars
Uh
and
huh.
stealing cars,
Yep.
and then once they started bringing in tanks and all, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"This is not Fast and Furious anymore."
Eh,
Like this,
you know what they do? They throw in like one obligatory race scene just to be like, yes, it is, and just so they can
like
carry
aren't they in
on.
space in one of them?
No,
Oh,
that's the joke though, is that
okay.
someday they'll go to space, which I won't lie, I'd watch.
Hey,
That's the I will say that like those for me are like pure popcorn movies. Like I
yeah,
wouldn't call them guilty pleasures because I don't feel guilty like watching them, but it's shut your brain off. It's there's people doing stunts, the action sequences where they're jumping across cars. I'm like that would have killed you, but whatever. But anyway,
yeah,
she's in the Fast and Furious movies, like
okay,
6 8. So when he tells that joke, he's like, "It's I've watched Fast and Furious movies, and it's all about family." And Helen Mirren's like looks at him. He's like, "Curse, that's a signal." For me, I got a little chuckle out of that. Oh, and going back to horror, did you catch the Annabelle doll is in there? The Annabelle from the movie, the horror movie Annabelle.
no.
He goes to that therapist office, which is the pediatrician,
Oh yeah,
and then
yeah.
he's like, "I'm a pediatrician," and he's to the dolls. The Annabelle doll is right,
Oh,
and it's because it's not the director of that movie, but the director of the Ty West. He directed Aquaman.
okay.
And there's an Annabelle cameo in that too.
Yeah, I remember that
You
one.
remember that one? So I guess that's where that comes into play. Is like I think it's the running joke.
Yeah.
But you see, that'd be crazy if they fought her in one of those movies. John Constantine comes in, fights one of those off.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
I think Constantine. Yeah, they need to do Constantine good.
Eh. Uh, but all that to say is, I think this actually comes out on Christmas, so this is going to be, we don't have any Star Wars movies. The Marvel movie comes out in November, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah,
So there's nothing really December except this that I'm thinking of. I'm sure there's something I blanked, but that seems to be
yeah.
the only like blockbuster. Oh, but I think it's Avatar 2. I think Avatar 2 is in December. Yep.
You waited too long.
Yep.
You missed your spot, man.
And that's a whole other segment.
Yeah,
But so there's that. So that's the news I wanted to gather. Like, I'm looking forward to it just because I like that movie and I think it's a really one of the really strong arms of the DCU. But we're gonna go on to even to news both of us
yeah.
love, and it was revealed. This one was revealed at Comic Con. This was revealed this week because the funny circumstances around it is that so Aquaman 2 is still filming, but there was a one of the lots where they're shooting the movie. Um, Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He wasn't in costume or anything, but he came out of the set. Apparently, there was a tram. They do like those backlot tours, and there was a tram of them that saw him coming out of that studio. And apparently, they saw this is the news. Ben Affleck came out as well as Bruce Wayne, dressed in Bruce Wayne suit attire, going back to his trailer. So he's there. Not Zach, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
He sees the tram. He's like, "Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag now." And so he posted it on his Instagram, and now that's how everyone found out the news about it. Which makes I was both excited because we both love his interpretation.
I did like it.
Um,
I think he gets flack for no reason. He's playing an older, wiser Batman, a more grittier Batman
mhm.
that we really haven't seen. Yeah, I mean, I liked I liked. So it'll be
Yeah,
interesting how much he is, though.
that's true because that Flash movie supposedly was his last time
Yeah,
going to be in. That was the spinoff, but now it's like, okay, what state is the universe in now? Because the reason why Affleck jumped off is because in the original Justice League, he wasn't having. He said he wasn't having fun.
yeah.
It just the role was like too taxing on him. I was like, which always
Which
makes
you
me
can
sad.
tell, like the amount of work that he put in for BVS. He did not put in that much work for Justice League.
Yeah, at least
Like
the first cut of Justice League. The Snyder cut, I think, is much better with him.
I'm talking like physically
Oh,
working out.
physically. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that bat suit got a little bit bigger for
Yeah,
Justice League,
yeah, yeah. I did.
so
Uh,
it's kind of like he just yeah.
yeah.
But then
But he
again,
was
he was
going
hitting
through
the
stuff.
sauce pretty hard.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That was another thing too. But who knows? Like maybe he will be like just to keep the universe straight. Like yeah, maybe they do a Flashpoint esque movie. But even when Flashpoint happened, like yeah, he went to the universe where Thomas Wayne was that Batman. He comes back. The universe is a little bit different,
yeah.
but the at least the core mechanics stayed.
Well, so I'm curious too because I keep talking about how they're killing off the DCEU, and it's just like a raccoon that won't die.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh no, it's dead, Henry Cavill, all that type of stuff, and then it's like,
Which
oh, here's Aquaman, oh, here's Batman. Like,
yeah. Which
is it
there
really dead?
yeah, I remember I shared this with you on Instagram was that so while at Comic Con, The Rock or Dwayne Johnson, I guess now he's better known as, it was promoting Black Adam.
Yeah.
And someone I don't know if it was a crowd question or something like that, but someone asked him about, because if he and Henry Cavill Superman go toe to toe. And I don't know if it's one of those Marvel things where he couldn't answer, but
I thought he said no.
he didn't say plain no,
Oh,
but his answer seemed like Henry Cavill wasn't going to come back. But it's not like confirmed that he's not. But he said we nerds we kind of take things a little too harsh sometimes,
he
and it
got
wasn't even
booed on the
he got
stage.
booed, but it wasn't even his. It wasn't even a question about his movie. It was like
Yeah.
something else that was going on. So I kind of feel
Which watch Black Adam again and think of Scorpion King.
yeah, yeah,
It
that's
comes
all.
out very much like Scorpion King.
I could definitely, yeah, I can see it. Um, so now we don't know if going back to Affleck if he's going to be now prominent or if this one is his true last hurrah. Maybe it's a post-credit scene he filmed. We don't know if it's from during the scene takes place in the main
Yeah.
movie. But I'm hopeful. Like who knows? We never did get
Wouldn't
like
that be
his.
crappy if they did Zack Snyder's movie without Zack Snyder?
Oh, but keep like the dark side element and stuff.
Like
Like keep.
go to that same character, same cast. And they're just like, yeah, Zack just
Well, I have a feeling if they wanted to do that, it would be what happened with the actors on the Guardians of the Galaxy when the director of that,
James Gunn.
James Gunn, when he got
Gunn.
fired from Disney for that, and all the actors like, hey, if Gunn's not coming back, we're not doing it.
Yeah, I feel like um, Guardians though is more tight knit than those guys are.
Okay.
Because honestly, Joss Whedon just came in and did a bunch of stuff, and they didn't
Yeah.
fight. They didn't. They were like, okay, like,
Yeah.
and now looking at
Now
this,
he's getting flack.
I mean, he should like when you were starting to compare the scenes, like the one scene it just showed it was from behind Wonder Woman, and it just showed Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, and it was like Zack Snyder's cut is just of him, and then it was like pan back so you can have Wonder Woman's butt in the scene. That's Joss Whedon. Like it made no sense. It did not matter at all. But they're like, so
Watching those two movies is like night and day.
yeah,
It's so baffling. But hey, at least if anything, Zack Snyder got to tell. I'm glad he at least got a
yes,
shot
got
to
to
tell the
finish it.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that's all the DC news we have. Now we go on to what takes on the rest of the
everything.
news. Yes, and that is Marvel. Kevin Feige came out and basically told us everything that's tentatively. And the only reason I say tentatively is that there have been sometimes
Dates
these
will get shifted around.
days get shift, ideas for certain things like back in the day, The Inhumans was going to be a movie, and then they changed it
Oh
to a
yeah,
TV show, and now it's like we don't talk about The Inhumans like
yeah.
ever. So they announced what was going to happen in Phase Five and a little bit into Phase Six. But before we do get to Phase Five, we have to talk about how they're finishing Phase Four with their current shows. Um, She-Hulk, which is the next one to come out,
Yep.
which I'm still on the fence about watching as a whole. I'm not going to promise I'm going to watch it here and now. The entire show, I'll have to see. I usually get a feel in the first episode
I'll
or so.
probably watch She-Hulk
Yeah.
just
Well, if you
because
do,
of
I
like the
will.
tie-ins. I feel Miss Marvel, I'm not gonna watch, but
Yeah.
I feel like I'll watch. There's enough other characters that can lift that show up because it's got Charlie Cox in it. It's got
That was
Hulk
my
in it.
big takeaway.
It's got other characters that I feel like can lift it, and it's got Abomination back. It's like again, I feel like that's a perfect show and a perfect example of what you surround a character with can either rise it up or drop it.
Right.
And I feel like that's going to rise it up to the point where, okay, yeah, I'll watch it.
Because I got to see. So we got a glimpse at the very end of that new trailer with Charlie Cox's Daredevil. You don't see his full suit. Well, you kind of do. He jumps on a building, rolls. You see the back of the suit, but not until the end where it starts like going panning up before it gets to his mask. But he's got on the original. We
Yeah.
talked about this too. The original yellow and red suit, which just from the body shot I saw, I was like, yes,
Yeah,
like
I love it.
it's kind of like I didn't know if they could before First Class bring in the older X-Men suits like the blue and the yellow because I was like I don't know if they could do it right, but they did it right
Yeah.
in that movie. And I think this too is like just because something isn't like going back to the Daredevil suit from Affleck, which is geared more around like motorcycle attire, leathery stuff. Like just because it doesn't look sleeker like that, but his isn't a bulky suit.
Yeah.
But you can have this darker character be in this kind of more colorful suit.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely talk about him more later on.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else from She-Hulk?
No.
Okay. So She-Hulk, and then the huge one, which we got a trailer for finally, to close out Phase 4, and I can't remember the exact date, in November. But Wakanda
November
Forever.
11th.
November 11th.
Because it's my anniversary.
11/11.
Yeah.
Yep, it's 11/11/22. Wakanda Forever, which that trailer, I'm not gonna lie, like I was worried. I shouldn't have been worried because the just the love they have for Chadwick Boseman and that character, the director, all the actors, the
Yeah.
MCU just in general. I was worried how that trailer was going to come across because I thought it was going to be like Spider-Man: Far From Home, being like the beginning starts off like he sees the mural, Peter sees the mural of Tony Stark Iron Man, and it's somber there, but then it goes into your wacky
Yeah.
Spider-Man. But to be fair, it matches Spider-Man's tone. But this one seems to go
I
for
think
a
it's gonna be
more
serious.
serious,
It's
like
gonna be
a,
serious
which
throughout.
I am a-okay with.
Yeah, I agree.
They have a like again, kind of like we were talking about the mural for Tony Stark. They have a mural for Chadwick Boseman's character, Black Panther. Dang, why am I blanking on
T'Challa.
T'Challa? Thank you. Wow, I feel bad blanking that one out. But King T'Challa.
Yeah.
Um, there's someone else you see in the trailer. It might be implied that it's his sister Shuri, but you don't see the full suit. Again, it's kind of
Yeah.
like the
But
the
that's why they're also thinking it might be Killmonger that because it has some yellowish tone,
yellowish tones
so
to
which
it.
would lend to Killmonger,
The
which
only thing that
I
you
would
see though
love it.
is it looks like a slender body is at the end of it, like the color
Yeah.
scheme. But I mean, they never outright tell you who it is.
No, the Lego set.
Yeah,
So that's what the kind of the spoiler that people are looking to is that they released the toys before the movies,
right.
and so the toys that they released has Shuri, but and it's but Shuri is not dressed as Black Panther though.
Okay.
But they're saying something like, "Oh, she is." I don't know. Because
Okay.
also you see in the trailer that she's like carving out the heart symbol.
Well, that's Riri Williams. That's Ironheart, which we'll talk
Okay,
about.
I
See,
thought
she
that was Shuri. That's
no,
not.
no, that's
Oh,
her.
okay.
But apparently there'll be something. We'll talk about her show in a little bit. But and the character Riri Williams like somehow finds her way to Wakanda. She becomes friends with Shuri. Like that's where you see him do the handshake there. And then at the end, you see the heart. Like she carved it. It looked out of iron because it didn't look like vibranium.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see. She's going to be introduced in that movie, but the tone said we get to see the Submariner.
Namor.
Yeah,
But also, he's also not the leader of Atlantis.
right,
They changed it up that he had it's his own kingdom, but it's
right.
not
It's
Atlantis.
not Atlantis. I forget what they
It's
called
like
it.
Tal Khan or Calm something.
Something, yeah, but it's like more based towards like Aztec, like
Yeah,
South
which I think is
American,
cool. I
yeah,
like
yeah,
it. I
South
like it.
American countries. Yeah, his look is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that character, I think they always didn't, even in the comics, they don't know what to do with. But I think this movie might be a more spearheaded, like, hey, we have a good fit, a good footing for the character, because it doesn't seem like it looks like it's going to be a more politically played movie, which is okay because we talk about Asgard and like what Odin would do and stuff, but now you're facing like real world politics. Like for some reason they come into contact with Wakanda,
Yeah.
maybe for vibranium. You don't know. You see like the throne room where Shuri's in is like it's on fire, but the water is like rising up. So some people are thinking that has something to do with Namor. But all in all, the trailer very emotional, but very very
Yeah.
solid, very good trailer. It doesn't answer, which is great. It leaves you what any trailer should
No,
do,
just wait the
speculate.
week before it, and then they'll spoil it.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
I'm not like
I don't go on YouTube now.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I don't go on YouTube anymore.
Dare
Like the
you.
day of the movie, like when we go see it on Thursday nights, I don't hit up YouTube because that's where almost every single time there's like whoever saw the preview of the movie the night before, they always take a screenshot and a thumbnail of the video, and that just like ruins stuff. I'm like, so I can't go on YouTube. I've actually had more success on other social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, because they at least is like, hey, don't spoil, like no spoiling the movie, like don't
Yeah.
do this. But YouTube, it's like the algorithm plays because like they know we like superhero stuff, so that
Yeah.
it plays almost every time. So I cannot go on YouTube the day that we're gonna watch a movie.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Um, so that'll be a closing Wakanda Forever to close out Phase 4.
Yes.
Now we're going to go into Phase 5, and now starting with Phase 4 until the end. It looks like the end of Phase 6 or
Yeah.
middle of Phase 6 because
No, because I thought the Avengers end phase.
oh, I
six.
guess okay.
I,
That was the
I
canon.
watched a clip on Facebook
Oh.
today that Kevin Feige was like, to end Phase 6 is these
Yes,
two Avengers
because and I
movies.
see that news before too. Because yeah, so Avengers movies are not just team up movies
Yeah,
anymore. They are the closing chapters of sagas. So Phase 4, 5, and 6 are now known as the Multiverse Saga.
yeah.
So okay, like it's not just like cleanup. It was Phase 4, and then the multiverse wasn't that fun, and then you go
Yes.
forward.
So they
So
are going somewhere. It took a long time
time,
to get to it, but at least we going somewhere.
and I do have the cheat sheet in front of me.
Perfect.
So starting in Phase 5, we're gonna get the third Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the
Quantumania.
Wasp, which will have Kang the Conqueror,
Yeah.
who was supposed to make his MCU debut. Well,
He
we
was
got
yeah.
yeah we got a version of Kang, but we didn't get the Conqueror. We got the
We just got Kang.
we just got Kang.
But there was the statue of King the Conqueror at the end of it, and
Right.
at Loki,
Yes.
in the TV series.
And so that supposedly makes a hard left turn
I
as
heard.
told. So that maybe it's not, it could be a heist film like the others have been,
I thought
or
I
you
took
think like
it.
more serious.
I think it's more serious
So
because
that seems to be. And we'll talk about that. Two more stories. Give me two more stories. But Modoc, there was a trailer
yes,
for Quantumania. We don't know the actor playing Modoc. You don't hear his voice. You just see. Again, I think it's the back of the body that you see, but it's his MCU debut. We'll see what
and
role.
Patton Oswalt's cartoon has been canceled.
What was it? Oh, what was? Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
I heard about that.
They're
So it's
like,
like
sorry, Pat. We
MCU's
can't.
here. Bye bye, Patton. Yeah,
Well, Patton is still in the MCU.
yeah. He was that
Voices
that dwarf.
the dwarf with Harry Styles' character.
Yeah,
Which I never sent you this article. I should have just for the laugh of it. But they're like, oh yeah, Harry Styles will be in the. You know how they say like Thor will return. You know,
yeah.
yeah. They said, oh yeah, Harry Styles will return to the MCU. I'm like, great. Like, nothing against Harry Styles. He's actually a good actor in a lot of things. He was in Dunkirk, the Christopher Nolan World War II
Yeah,
movie, and he's a good actor. It's just funny when you hear his name and you think
yeah,
of One Direction,
yeah.
and it just you're putting that to. But and he's going to be in a thriller movie I'm looking forward to next year, which is Don't Worry, Darling, which has Florence Pugh, who was Yelena from Black Widow's sister.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to show you the trailer for that. See what you think. But anyhow, so that's going to be the first in Phase 5, and that it's scheduled to come out. Quantum Media is February 17th of next year. And the next thing we're going to get on the schedule is a show, Secret Invasion, which will have Nick Fury, um, Maria
Scroll.
Hill,
Yeah,
Scrolls, because we saw at the end of Far From Home. No, yeah, Far From Home.
yeah,
Fury was not on Earth. We don't know for
yeah. We don't know where
how
he's at.
long.
Yeah,
But he's been with the Scrolls helping out.
which is crazy that they're doing a show and not like an event.
I think that's why they have the event that's going to cap off the multiverse saga. I don't want to spoil it here because we're going to get to it later down the road. But I think that's why they have that there. Um, and then this is kind of like it's showing us like what's happening in space.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
but I think that one I'm looking forward to because again they got Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think they got Ben Mendelsohn who played the leader scroll from Captain
Okay.
Marvel. I don't know if Captain Marvel is in this. I know, but I don't know
We don't
which other
know that.
characters are going to be in it. Again, as we are getting closer to ending out the year, they'll probably show a trailer maybe at D23 when Disney does their
Oh yeah.
big thing. Okay, so after that, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which will be, oh, and there's not a release date for Secret Invasion. It's just spring of next year.
Yeah.
But Guardians Volume 3 does have a tentative release date of May 5th of next year. It is said it is darker than the previous two films.
Yeah.
Um,
And
they're,
this is it.
yeah, James Gunn, they're
Like
done. The main cast.
the main cast is not coming back. So
There may be another new team of Guardians later in the MCU, but
come
for their
on,
story,
Venom.
yeah. But to end their story is on Volume 3. But it looks like we're gonna get there. Did you happen to see there was like leaked clips of the trailer?
No.
I saw little leaked clips. It does have that darker tone to it. I can't remember what song is playing. It's an older retro song like they do in Guardians trailers before, but you do get to see Rocket before he gets turned into
Really?
Logan. You see him as the raccoon, and all you see is this hand. It looks like a human hand. Like he's scared. He's like back and forth, and
Oh,
out of the darkness comes this hand coming towards him. So I think that was a big pull of this movie is that you get to see Rocket's origins because that's going to play
I wonder
into
if they
the
show
film.
Bruce Origins.
And they could.
Because
They
that was really dark.
they are bringing in Adam Warlock,
Yes,
who we
which
finally got from Volume Two,
um,
way back.
the actor was in We're the Millers.
Yep, he was the kid from We're the Millers, and
And
that kid got jacked
yeah,
in this
yeah,
film.
I saw the one picture. I was like, okay,
Ah,
he's
uh,
not wearing a bodysuit
yeah.
unlike Zach is.
Question mark.
No question mark.
All right. Well, let's see. Anything else I want to add? It's yeah. So the main cast. This is their swan song. Chris Pratt got a little emotional.
Yeah,
That was cool to see. How this because you this is another reason why he's one of my favorite actors too. Is because whatever project he's doing, he puts his heart and soul into. And not only that, like he's like, oh, these aren't just going to be my cat. Like he tries to make connections
yeah.
on screen, like whoever, whatever the movie or the series he's in right now, the actors he's with, he's like, hey, we're here to work, but I'm pretty sure he wants to make connections with people and through the Galaxy series that actually kind of that brought him into the mainstream. Those movies, yeah, sure, he was in Parks and Rec, he was in some, he was
Yeah,
in
no,
secondary characters in some other
because
movies.
even in Parks and Rec, you see where because they even make reference. I think what season was that? But yeah, they make a reference because then he got buff
Yep.
for Guardians, and they made the line at the very beginning, first episode. It's when they were visiting them in DC, and he's like, "Oh, you lost a lot of weight." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Stop drinking on the beer." And he's like, "That was a lot of beer." And he goes, "Yeah, I know." And that kind of went on with it. But that's where you could tell, okay, that was
Okay.
Guardians,
Okay. That's pretty cool.
which Parks and Rec is one of the greatest TV shows ever. You
Okay.
don't like Parks and Rec?
If it's any consolidate, no, that's gonna hurt me more. I
You
can't.
don't like The Office?
I think they're okay.
How dare
They're
you?
both okay.
Get out of my
All
house.
right. Well, you're taking over. So have fun.
Oh my god.
And I'm bringing the cheat sheet with me. Have
Oh
fun.
man.
No, here's the okay. Well, again, another rabbit hole. I don't hate these shows. I think they are fine. They're good shows. No. I just can't get into them like the fan bases can. And it's for me. Maybe it has to do with I can only. I have select cringe humor.
Okay.
Like you could say like Jackass is like cringe humor to a point, but I love
Okay.
Jackass cringe humor because
Yeah.
it's spontaneous. Those guys, and that's the thing too. The cast members on both of those shows, they
Yeah.
became, and the fan base. It's like well deserved fan base. They love their fans. It- and again, the humor. I see why it's there. It's just for me. I think what it is there's one of a couple of factors into it. One, there's too many characters. It's kind of like I kind of contributed when I play a video game, I think like an RPG. Like if you give me a whole like 20 some characters, I'm like I can't love all 20
But how do you
characters.
like Avengers movies then?
Oh, I only like some of the Avengers.
I know, but they're still in there.
Oh, I didn't like Hawkeye for. I was like Hawkeye. I don't
But
know.
that's what I'm saying though, is that just
But there's
because
six of them. There's six.
in Infinity War, there's a lot more than six Avengers in that movie.
Oh yeah, I chose six.
That's what I'm saying though.
Oh yeah, I
Like
chose six, and then the rest of you guys.
like The Office, I
Yeah.
watched that for three characters primarily.
Yeah,
The other ones add in some stuff, but it's three characters.
I know. Yeah, and again, I don't know, man. I can never. I've watched the show. I watched episodes like and I will say this about The Office too. A very positive thing. It's the episode where they have the fire drill, the fake one that
Yeah,
Dwight pulls out.
yeah,
One I will say it's one of the funniest openings to a TV show
yeah,
ever in history.
yeah.
That the first time I saw that, I cried laughing.
Which
I
one
did.
was that?
It's the one where
With the chili?
no, where he does the fake fire drill, like he sets up to where the building's on
Yeah,
fire.
yeah.
Um, but like he like lights a cigarette and he's like,
Oh,
yeah, smoking's gonna save lives, and he tosses it in the trash. And I was like, oh, fire! What are you? And then everyone freaks out.
Yep.
They're climbing. The Oscar climbs to the ductwork.
Save Bandit.
Yeah, she knows the cat. exactly. Now I lost it. I lost it. Like,
One of the favorite. All right, then back to this.
yeah.
My favorite like cold opening to the office was Kevin's like once a year I make Kevin's chili. And he goes, I start by marinating the onions, and he goes about how I'm doing all this recipe, and it's this massive pot of chili. And he's walking upstairs, and he walks into the office, and he slips and spills it everywhere. And he's like, "Oh no!" And he's trying to like he grabs a paper basket and a clipboard, and he's trying to scoop it in there, and it's just everywhere. One of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in my life.
They've had pop up office. I don't call them fan events, but like museums and stuff
Yeah,
like that, where you can get like pictures taken like with
yeah.
office, and that's one of the things is that they have the bowl, a fake bowl of chili with it's so plastic, so it's like so. But you can take your picture in front of it in the same pose he does when he falls, and so
Yeah, that's
that's
awesome.
like I said.
Okay, back to Marvel.
Okay, back to Marvel. I mean, it's fine. I don't hate them, and they're not bad shows. I just can't get into them.
Okay.
It's one of those things. Oh man, that's such a dead silence. Leave it on. I- the next one, I don't know if we're gonna have much to talk about this one. No, there's two. There's
I
two
don't even
people.
know what Echo is.
So she was in Hawkeye. Yeah, I know. But uh, so she's tied into her character is tied into Kingpin. That's where her character's tied into, and both Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox are coming back. They'll be together in this series, so it might be one of those things, much like initially, I was only going to watch She-Hulk just to see how much Daredevil was going to be in it, if anything. But then you said you might watch it. So if you're watching it, I'll
I'll
watch it
watch it.
together. So there we go. I guess we just confirmed we're going to watch
I
it
mean, if
together.
there's a significant amount of D'Onofrio in Echo, then I'll watch Echo.
I think that's what it's going to play into because she is a. I think the actress they even have to playing her is deaf because that's her character is deaf. So
Oh,
almost like how Daredevil blindness has the radar sense, she can do somewhat similar with sound. That's her gimmick. But they're both set to come back in it. How big a part they'll play, I'm not sure. But they are like, hey, we are coming back for this.
okay.
Um, so following that, that's summer of 2023. So there's no release specific release date, just excuse me, just a time frame. And same thing with Loki season two. We are getting summer of next year, probably late summer, probably around if I had to guess, Echo will probably come out in May, and by the time that finishes, Loki will come
Maybe
out.
the end of May, yeah.
It'll come to Loki,
Loki's
which
probably end of June, beginning of July.
maybe, or they might do the August trick. Like, well, when did Miss Marvel come out? She was
Well, yeah,
June,
but the Marvels looks like it's coming out.
July. Well, that'll probably run. They'll probably run because
Oh,
the way it looked like on timeline, how it looked like, they may overlap, which some projects have overlapped before.
yeah.
Because so Loki, as we saw at the end of season two, thought he prevented they were going to prevent the end of that wasn't the end of the world. They no,
Incursion.
the incursion ended up killing the good Kang, who was over the
Yeah.
time variant force. What was their name? Time? What was it? Can't remember. I just remember
TVA.
TVA. Time variant. Time.
Yeah.
TVA. That's good for now. They killed him because Sylvie killed him,
Yeah.
which is Loki's female variant, who I came to love in that series.
Yeah.
Like
It was
she
cool.
was great. And now this has huge ramifications. So at the end of the first season, Loki appears in another. He thinks is the timeline he was in,
Yeah.
but it's another one where this Kane, like John was saying earlier, you get to see the statue of what we know as Kang the Conqueror with the helmet, but it's all out of stone. It's not colorized,
Yeah.
but you get the picture of
Yeah.
what this guy's going to look like, which is if it looks like how he's going to look like comic accuracy, spot on. So they'll probably be dealing with Kang, and maybe going back to quantum media that might feed into it as
Yeah.
well. We'll see. Now it's kind of like with these. We talked about it earlier. It's like watching some show. Oh, and this is one thing Kevin Feige said too. He was clarifying with the TV shows in general. Some just introduce characters like Moon Knight and Miss Marvel. That's what they do. Is just he said, do you have to watch them to get the whole MCU? You don't. There are some that you have to. Loki is one of them. WandaVision is another. Captain Captain America and the Winter Soldier, that was another one. We'll talk about him in a second too. I'm looking forward to what he's got coming down the road. But it seemed like he understands like we want to tell these stories because there's fans of those characters,
Yeah,
but we don't want to alienate all of everyone to be like, oh no, in order to get
you
the whole
have to
thing,
watch
you have
it.
to
Yeah,
watch it. So I appreciate that. So he's you got to play like both, and like we got to, the fans that want to see these characters, but maybe they're not fans, but you can't force them to watch it
yeah.
to get the MCU. So I like that. Which goes into our next movie. So the Marvels, I know, which is scheduled for July 28th of next year. I will say this:
It's
the
gonna be.
logo looks kind of cool because the Marvel has the like
Oh,
her symbol and the A, but then they have Miss Marvel's S's at the end. I don't know. I like the logo. There was something too. So Carol Danvers at the end of this is a spoiler for Miss Marvel comes into.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if they switched
Kamala
places.
Khan or whatever.
Yeah, Kamala Khan. They switch places or something like that. I don't know. I just saw the end clip. I didn't get the context of it, and
Yeah.
I tried Wikipediaing it, and I didn't really get context there. So I think that's the key, though. It's just like for some reason they switched, which is why you may see. I saw screen grabs of Brie Larson like on Earth, like on a freeway. So they might have whatever cosmic thing happened. They switched places. So
Mm,
she's Kamala Khan's up in space. Carol Danvers is back on Earth, kind of a thing.
gotcha.
Maybe that's it. Um, but I don't know what kind of ramifications that'll have for the MCU. Again, it could be just kind of like how Guardians 3, it might tie into the multiverse stuff, but for them, I feel like that's a send off to James Gunn's characters or
Yeah.
characters he made.
So I guess yeah. Before you even say this next one,
Uh,
um, I liked Loki. It wasn't my favorite of the TV shows. So with that being said, I feel like next summer is going to be kind of dry for me.
think so?
Like Echo, Loki, and the Marvels, it's going to be like,
Again, for me with Echo, it depends on how much Daredevil and Kingpin are in there.
yeah,
And if they are, then I'll be like, all right,
that's what I'm saying. So at least that's fine. But like, I'm going to watch Loki. But again, it wasn't like
uh,
everybody raved over it, and I was like, it's okay, it's good.
yeah.
You know?
There are definitely like some dry spots to that show. Actually, there's been with all the ones that
Yes.
the MCU shows I've watched.
Yeah.
I don't think they're terrible. The ones I've seen, they all were like decent and good, and there's like some I'd go back and watch. Like you gotta give me some time. Like would I jump back immediately into them? No.
Yeah.
Loki would probably be the closest one to me immediately jumping back in on.
Yeah. I don't know if I would ever watch WandaVision ever again.
Yeah, I think that one for me was a one and
Um,
done. We'll get to something in that in a not actually a
I don't
short
know.
bit.
Yeah, maybe Captain America: Winter Soldier. I might watch that.
There are points of Captain America too, Winter Soldier, or yeah, Captain America.
Yeah, even more dry. But I think maybe as a whole, I think again, what it comes down to is not even the plot; it's the characters. Whether I want to watch the character on the screen anymore.
Right,
You know?
and you have to have time too,
Yeah.
because I mean, we're in the age of content where it's like so much is being thrown at you.
Yeah.
You got to pick and choose what you got to watch, and that includes us too. Like we love doing this around, we love talking about this, but
Yeah.
I mean, at this moment, we still have 9 to 5 jobs and we got family and
Yeah.
stuff, so we gotta like, you know, and there's other media we want to consume too.
Yeah.
So that's why
So
we
leading to the next one that I'm excited for.
which is Blade, is going to be coming November 3rd of next year. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the actor's name? Oh, look, what was his,
Oh,
he was actually in,
Luke Cage.
yes, he was the, Cottonmouth was his character in that one. Uh, was it Ollie? Oh man, I might have to like look him up for a second,
Hold on.
but
You keep talking.
okay.
I'll look it up.
You look okay. Nice. But seeing this guy, it is kind of weird having the same actor play two different characters within the same universe. But however, hearing him and then seeing his movement,
Marisa Ali.
Mahershala Ali, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, great. I mean, great casting.
Yeah. Very
Um,
excited.
we got to hear him at the end of Eternals. Some people didn't believe me that it was him at the Eternals.
Oh.
That's him. Because some people thought it was someone from the What If series. Uh, maybe it was Ultron, like the Ultron that gets the Infinity Stones, or the Watcher. I'm sorry, no, it was the Watcher.
Oh,
People thought it was the Watcher. And that was one of our friends, Tim, when we watched it. And I was like, dude, I think that's Blade. He's like, well, it sounds like a Watcher. I was like, you sure? And then I was right. That was a great video on my part. I was like, I know Blade, I know a badass. And I hear one. But
I feel
that,
like a missed opportunity though. Like, wouldn't you have like
oh,
rather than November 3rd, wouldn't you put it like
in
2 weeks
Halloween,
earlier and have
they
it
could.
Halloween?
They could. They might just like, you know what? Let's put it in Halloween. They
That'd be
could.
awesome.
And other casting news for that as well. The actor who, man, why do we get better at knowing these names or bringing a cheat sheet? But the actor who plays Homelander in The Boys is
Yes.
rumored to play Count Dracula in The
Yes.
Blade Runner, and I am
That would
all
be,
for that.
yeah,
That
10
would be
thumbs up.
that would be
He
that'd be
he
so
is
great.
so menacing and evil in The Boys. He like yeah, and I feel like he's born to play Dracula.
I think even if you put him like in the traditional Dracula garb, which nowadays kind of looks silly, I think he can make it work. Like if you resurrected him from like however many hundred years ago, and he kept like the traditional cloak and stuff like
Yeah, he
that,
needs a cape.
he could bring the menace though.
Yeah.
And this will be, from my understanding, well, in Moon Knight we had an introduction like werewolves kinda. It was more. Did they even say that thing was a werewolf? It was more like a jackal creature that was hiding.
Yeah.
So not really a
Yeah.
werewolf, but it was more like a supernatural type of enemy that was fighting
I feel
our
like Moon Knight
hero.
was such a wasted opportunity.
Yeah. But who knows?
I
I
wonder
mean,
if he's gonna pop up in any of
he
this.
could. Blade would be a great one for him to pop into.
Yeah.
That would be cool. And who knows if Blade, it could be rated R. I think there was still talk of it
I think
making
it
it
kind of
R.
needs to be.
I think there was talks of it like if it retaining its rated R rating. That was another one Feige was like, yeah, we could make that PG-13. You shouldn't really, because that's a character that just the content deserves an R rating.
Yeah.
Um, but that one we're looking forward to. We're going back to the show. So the next one, we talked about the character Ironheart with Riri
Yeah.
Williams being introduced. So she is scheduled for her show fall 2023. For those who don't know, in the comics, for a brief amount of time, she was an Iron Man. She made
Yeah.
like her own, or I don't want
I can't remember.
to. She
I
made
got
her
the
own.
comic.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um.
I'll have to read that sometime.
I I think it's like the first two editions of it. But yeah, I think Tony Stark like gives her the suit.
Okay.
And
I know
then he's the one like talking through it or
Yeah,
something.
he's an AI. That's right. He's
Yeah.
like the Jarvis
Yeah.
because they specialize the suit to her
Yeah.
to what it looks like. Okay, but maybe excuse me in this one she may feel like the world may need another Iron Man type thing, and then Morgan Stark, Tony Stark's daughter, is probably still really young at this point, so she might get the blessing from Pepper Potts to
Um.
be to be the next.
I don't know. I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow kind of was
She sounds she was done too.
more or less like hinted like I'd only do this for paydays, like because they asked her about another character and she was like, I don't watch any of these things.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't it? Wasn't it during the one like the Spider-Man? I want to say it was like as far back as Homecoming. They asked her, and she's like, "Oh," and we're like,
I
"Oh,
don't watch any of these things.
all right."
Yeah, because I think they asked her about like Infinity War, and she was like, I don't care. It's kind of like, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe Pepper Potts goes away with Tony Stark.
maybe. I was thinking too we were gonna get because Armored Wars. Well, that okay, that's something that hasn't been brought up,
Yeah,
but that could be a D23 thing. Disney's they
yeah,
may be holding the cards for that because they did get like I said they gave us like the direction of where this is going into. They gave us a ton of things like we're discussing right now, but they didn't. There's been slots. It's not like they gave the time, but when you look at the schedule, there's something that could fit in here
yeah.
and here and here and here. And they didn't say no to things fitting in certain slots. So we go on to a show I'm just straight up going to be honest, do not care about. And that is Agatha, Coven of
Yeah.
Chaos. Why? Why does
Never
she
will
need
not
her
watch
own
it.
show? That's what get like, oh, was it the song? Because the song was popular for a brief minute on the charts, but
I
I mean,
don't
don't get me
care.
wrong, I can't remember her name. She did fine in the role. I'm like,
Yeah.
why do I need a thing about this character? She's one I don't get. I understand the others. Hers is the only one where I'm like, why do we need an Agatha show?
Why not give us a Winter Soldier? Just a Winter
Yeah.
Soldier show.
Or even like another character that hasn't had their own show. Like,
War
why
Machine.
not?
Give
More
me
War
give.
Machine. Well, he's supposed to be prominent in Armor Wars. That's why they're all
Okay.
about him.
Um,
But
there's a
someone,
million other characters that I
yeah,
would have given a crap about.
like start off like with a mutants show. You know,
I'm even like trying to think of like
I don't know, man. That this one actually kind of
give me a
baffles
Red
me.
Guardian show before Agatha.
Uh,
Like
I would definitely watch.
honestly,
I would watch Red Guardian too. I would watch that. Definitely over this. So now that our ranting's over on that, let's go to a show
yes,
that long time coming. Cannot
but they
wait.
better not butcher it.
They better not butcher it. We're getting 18 episodes.
Yes, that's what I said. So 18 weeks, which is I think 14 and a half or 4.5 months.
Months.
That's what they were like. We get 4.5 months of Daredevil.
Or I would be all for that. Maybe this is the first thing, they may change it up. Be like, hey, guess what? You get it all at once. Like,
I don't know. I'm kind of actually fine with
I mean, don't get me wrong, I am too.
give me one episode every week
Yeah.
because then not even that for content. Now we have something to talk about
Yep.
for 4.5 weeks, like
Uh-huh.
and they won't be spoiler episodes.
Yeah,
like
I mean, y'all do that.
so am I.
Because I'm how. Oh, and so to add on to that, Vincent D'Onofrio is coming back,
Yep.
so they're not going to kill him off in Echo, and he's not dead. If anyone caught that.
Stop killing off your characters, Marvel.
I thought they learned the lesson in the 2000 movies, but apparently they didn't. Or even when the MCU was first starting. Because, this is another thing. I could have added this to, like, when we were talking about the worst Marvel movies. This one was a close runner for me, was Iron Man 2. Basically, of the wasted potential of Whiplash. Because what we
Yeah.
found out with Hydra later on, he could have worked for Hydra, gave them their own suits and stuff. Excuse me, really cool to see.
But that's what they even talked, and I feel like the fans really started hating on it with Crossbones because it was like, why are you killing him off so quickly?
I don't know. That was a sad opportunity.
But yes, Daredevil
Coming back.
Um,
And both him, so Kevin Feige confirmed this. The characters of Daredevil and Spider Man will lead what they call the street teams
Yes.
of the MCU. And it's like, so wait, Holland's not done? You guys, we get to keep him? Like,
yeah,
we get.
which is cool. Like keep them in New York.
Yep.
That's their primary. And again, it's also rumored, but it's been on so many sources at this point that it looks like John Barenthal will be the Punisher in Daredevil.
Yep. If he's gonna come back, they said that would be the prime opportunity to put him in.
Which please
Yeah.
do, because again, it sets up for a future project that we'll talk about.
Mhm.
It,
Yeah, actually,
and
two of them.
Yeah.
So with that, to keep the exciting news going, so we're gonna get the first Sam Wilson Captain America movie. Captain America: New World Order is the title. We don't know the plot synopsis of that yet. I hope they keep Sam's suit the way it is. Maybe they always have to modify it with some new tricks or
Yeah.
anything. But that was one of the cool takeaways from the show was his suit, which was comic book accurate as
Yeah.
well. Bucky, I think they said he's still in this, so that should be them
I
together.
mean, you can't drop off Winter Soldier. Like,
Unless they, I don't think. Why would you kill him though? I don't
why
know.
would you kill him?
It is why, but I'm trying to think of like if you were going to, where would you kill him? Maybe you kill him in the next movie. So to close out Phase 5 in July, so I should say this, so spring 20, yeah. So Captain America New World Order scheduled for May 3rd of 2024. And then to close out Phase 5,
Well, now is that technically closing out Phase 5?
it is.
It is.
It is closing out Phase 5 of
Okay.
Thunderbolts. Don't tell the next one, Thunderbolts. So they've been building it in the MCU a little bit, going to the Captain America show with John Walker's his version of Captain America, kind of Yelena, the Black Widow.
Yep.
Is there anyone else that they've tried to pull? They were the
think
main
so.
two. I don't think anyone else for Thunderbolts.
But it would make sense why you would set Barenthal up in Daredevil to then, right after that, jump into the Thunderbolts.
Yes. Which, for those that don't know, during the Civil War arc in the comic books, Norman Osborn led a team of heroes. They were villains. They were playing the role of hero. Like, that's where we got Iron Patriot. It was
Yeah.
actually Norman Osborn in that suit. There was I can't remember. There was a Wolverine. There was did they do Spider? I don't know if they did. But anyway, it was basically villains were taking up the mantles of these superheroes to fill in for the conflict that was going on to his own political agendas. So we'll have to see where this Thunderbolts ties in.
Yeah,
Maybe it could be their version of the Suicide Squad, and I
probably.
say that by like a darker tone, but
Yeah,
still like darker humor with the characters. So we'll see who else gets added on later. So that's going to close phase five. Now we get to talk about phase six. Oh, that's phase five. Oh, I didn't take the picture of it. Oh, I know where it starts. Anyways, so it starts with Fantastic Four. I
yeah.
can't remember the release date of that, but it is going to be early 2025.
And it stated that that's going to also be Tom Holland will be in the Fantastic Four movie.
And it's not an origin story.
Yeah,
So they're gonna play it just like Spider-Man from and Homecoming. You know, like
yeah.
they'll be around, probably introduced to maybe definitely if one of these projects at some point, maybe in a post-credit scene or as little tidbits here and there.
Which by all
Um,
means, we don't need it again.
no, we're okay. They may give us a little bit of a backstory, like maybe a flashback, uh, but that's by far fine with me. But now we're gonna get to well, yeah, because they haven't said the casting for that. Oh, the director of it is the same director of Shang Chi.
Yes,
He's
which
the,
I was fine with,
yeah,
um, because I feel like Shang Chi should have been a lot worse than it was.
yeah.
I actually enjoyed that one when I was walked into it. Like, I don't think I'm gonna like this movie at all, and I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you can take that content and make it good, I can't wait to see what you can do with Fantastic Four.
Um, what else was it? I'm just wanting to. Yeah, we haven't heard the cast yet, so we don't know if John
Yeah,
Krasinski is gonna come back.
I have a bad feeling that he's not going to.
We'll see. We can hope.
Yeah,
Um, hope and dream. But there's been memes going around who the cast would be.
that's how Ryan Gosling as.
Oh well, I saw Ryan Gosling wants to play Ghost Rider.
Oh,
Yeah, wants to play Ghost Rider. Um, but it was going to be they've done the cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia
oh,
as one of them. Oh, oh shoot, Jason Segel was rumored to play Ben Grimm in The
yeah,
Thing. I don't like. I'm never like, God, I'm like, I want to see what they would do with
yeah.
that.
Again, because he's gonna be pretty much CGI the whole time.
Yeah.
So
So do you like need? Well, I guess he could wear the body suit. Um,
again, I don't even think they would use a bodysuit. I think they would treat it like the Hulk.
no, they could. I'm trying to see when that. I don't know if it gives a release date for it. Maybe. I don't think we got a release, but it's going to be. I know it's going to be early 2025. But then we get to the closing ends, which will be the summer.
Yeah, so which they really haven't filled in the rest of it. It's more or less
Yep,
Fantastic Four and then these two.
these two. When they're both going to be Avengers movies. So Avengers: The Kang Dynasty will come out in May 2nd of 2025. So from that, maybe it's all the variants of Kang come and fight, or whoever, like maybe all the different incarnations of Marvel universes,
Yeah.
multiverses, all. Um, so whether or not they'll defeat him in that movie and leave it open for him to have the final fight in the next one, which Avengers: Secret Wars is going to be the cap. Uh, which I that one out of the two Avengers, I mean, I want to see how they do the Kang
Yeah,
dynasty, but at the same time,
Secret Wars.
we were promised Secret Wars. For those that know,
That's
Secret Wars.
2026.
That's 2025. That closes
Oh, it
out
is. Okay.
2025. That closes out 2025. In November 7th. So man, that's fantastic. We don't
Yeah.
have to wait that long. in between, which because the wait, I guess they knew the waiting period beforehand for Infinity War and Endgame
Yeah.
was so big, which I didn't mind. Like that kind of seemed up to the par for me because we.
Again, that's what made, Endgame the biggest movie of all box office of all time is because you made us wait. You know,
Mhm.
we watched the darn Infinity War 4 or 5 times, and it was
I
like,
think that one I see, I saw 6 times. That was actually the first movie we saw together too.
oh yeah,
That was the first one. Man, that was amazing.
yeah,
That was so good. Uh, but that being said, with Secret Wars, there's a whole bunch of possibilities with that
yes.
because one, we're in the multiverse saga. So the conception is that Marvel may play or MCU will play more with the 2015 Secret Wars event, which was different universes coming together to fight each other.
Yeah.
But they may string together the original Secret Wars, which was this being called the Beyonder, and I can't remember who else he was fighting with. But they took random heroes from Earth, put them
Hmm.
on this planet called Battle World, I made them duke it out. They wanted to see, yeah, they wanted to see who was strong. It may have been Madam Web, but Madam Web was more from the Spider-Man cartoon.
That was from Spider-Man. Yeah.
I can't remember the other person who was fighting with the Beyonder, but they wanted to see like who was. It wasn't the Watcher. I'm gonna step on this anyway. They wanted to see who was better, good or evil, and it was good trying for that. But we got, like I said, we got the symbiote suit
Yeah.
was during that event. So who knows? Maybe we may get our first Venom team up
We
down
better
the
get
road.
Venom before that.
Maybe.
Because again, like Phase 6 is starting with Fantastic Four at the beginning of 2025,
Mhm.
and then it only has 3 movies.
Mhm.
They're gonna have more movies and TV shows. They're just
Before
not
that. Yeah.
releasing anything.
Mhm. Yeah.
Again, you can't have an Adam Warlock situation with Venom that it's like,
Yeah.
oh, here's Tom Hardy, here's the Venom suit, it stays behind,
Yeah.
and then nothing happens for 2 years.
Years. Well, I mean, we had to wait for Warlock for one knows. Who knows when Hercules? Now looking at this, the joke was is like when Hercules is gonna fight Thor again.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to wait. That's 2020. We may have to wait 2027.
Again, Deadpool 3 is not on the
Yeah,
list,
Deadpool 3.
and they're writing it now.
What was it? I saw a brilliant subtitle to Deadpool 3.
Mutants aren't in it. Like,
Uh,
there's plenty of stuff that, like, I feel like they're gonna. I think 2025 is gonna be the year where it's just like they go
You
balls to
know
the
what they
wall.
do? Because Secret Wars could be the one where they have all the time variants, like all this stuff split off. So they have to mush it all together, like to make the universe not break and destroy everything. So you have to merge the universes. So this way may be like they talked about a mutation in Miss Marvel, but we didn't get there's no been confirmation of mutants outside of that. But in this movie, you could have the timelines. You could have the universes kind of like okay, we got to set it on track, but things get like jumbled in the mix, like that's been hinted at in other movies,
Yeah.
and be like, okay, this is actually bam, this is your kind of big bang moment. It's like the dust settles, and now this is your MCU going forward. It's now we can put in mutants.
Yeah.
We can have them in the same universes like Inhumans and just your superpowered Avengers and
Yeah.
all this stuff. But all that to say is like there's we're always gushing at what we could see in Secret Wars. Like I was talking with John earlier, we could see Ben Affleck Daredevil. There could be Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. There could be Topher Grace Venom would be hilarious.
No,
No, no,
God.
just for a joke. Now we don't have as the main Venom. We have Tom Hardy's Venom
Like
be
if
the
that's
true
yeah,
one.
if that's the case, like have like Tom Hardy's Venom and like they're standing on like the edge of a cliff or
Yeah,
something, and then Topher Grace pops up. He's like, "Hey, I used to," and then like he just
pushes
pushes him
him
off the
off.
cliff.
That'd be great. See, I'm trying to think. Like we could get cameos from the X Men, the original X Men. Um,
Yeah,
they could be for them like I mean, please, Lord, do not let Patrick Stewart die before we need him. We need him alive. Both him and Ian McKellen.
yeah,
We need those guys to stay till at least till at least a year. Don't call him home yet, Lord. Because I'm trying to imagine just seeing them. Like, can you imagine? Like, it would be cool. Like that we got to hear the '97 or the X Men. Oh, that was another. So this wasn't in this timeline, but the X Men. '97 show, the continuation
Yeah.
of the original X-Men series, is coming out in a fall of next year. So that's
They
pretty
have
cool.
Magneto's
As the
suit.
leader.
Yeah, but it's a little weird. It's
Yeah,
like his arms are like
his
cut
arms are
off.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been that's something I'm gonna have to go back and look at. This
I'll have
original
to
and
go back and
compare.
rewatch all of it.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's gonna be a blast to watch. But we've heard that theme when Charles came out in Doctor Strange 2. But what if you had the X-Men theme from the movies come
Oh,
out? Like, yeah,
stay the cartoon. Have
you
you
know,
heard of Power Glove?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I love their version of the X Men theme song.
I'll have to listen to it.
You never heard
I'm
it?
not.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's straight like metal version of it. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
that's right, my alley.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Okay. But again, who knows? And then when the dust settles, who knows what the next phase is going to be called? But at least now we've been griping, complaining. What are you doing? Are you
Yeah,
spinning your wheels? But now there's a direction, there's a
yeah,
goal. I'm happy for it. Um, I'm totally fine. The multiverse isn't just a one-off. Like that was fun, clear,
yeah,
cozy. But to be fair, it feeds in with the end of phase three. It's like to solve this crisis, you had to break the rules, but there's consequences to breaking the rules.
yeah.
So, I kind of like that. That's still there. So I think that's gonna do it for us on the main thing. But
Yeah.
we do need to pick our
Yes.
movies for this week, which are movies that both of us have not seen,
Yep.
and both of them can be found on Netflix, I
Yes.
believe.
One is brand spanking new, and the other one has been out for a year.
I think it was earlier this year.
Is it really?
Earlier this year.
Okay.
But that being said, the one I have is new. It just came out this month. Is The Gray Man, which
Yep.
has Ryan Gosling fighting off against Chris Evans, who's playing the villain. But it's also directed by the Russo brothers, who you
Mhm.
guys know, like we just talked about, Infinity War and
Captain America one.
Endgame, and yep, Captain America,
Winter Soldier.
Soldier, and Civil War. So this is kind of like their take on a CIA action movie.
Pretty good.
And then you had
I'm going to do the Adam Project.
yep.
It's got Mark Ruffalo. It's got Ryan Reynolds. It looks like it's kind of time travel-y type stuff. It looks really good. Again, we both picked these movies because we've wanted to watch them, but there's always been something else to watch. So this is our way of, hey, now we have to sit down and watch these movies, and I guarantee that we're probably going to be like, man, why didn't I watch this movie sooner?
Yeah.
But now we're at least we're gonna watch them.
And plus, so hour 46. How long's the other one?
It's probably about the same, I'd imagine.
I just
sure.
yeah, staring right in the freaking face. 2:09. So yeah, about not too bad. Oh, but there's a series. I want to just highlight this because it's now on Netflix. If you ever get a chance, man, and viewers at home, the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Is it good?
Oh man, until Phil Holland's version, uh, this like don't get me wrong, the '90s is what we grew up on, and it's a classic for a reason. Animation wise, this is kind of like my Batman the animated series to Spider-Man. It's really good. I will warn you something though, they got canceled, so they have I think it's 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah, but to say that it's better than Spider-Man the animated series
I
is
know.
saying a lot.
But there's more. You get more in depth from the characters. Like sometimes it felt like in the animated series they brought them on just for the sake as they are a Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
But they deal because you get this is high school Peter Parker.
Okay.
And they bring in the symbiote comes in at one point, and that Venom is really cool.
Okay.
His design, so he's bulky Venom, like we've seen. But there's times where like Spider-Man, like he's webbed his face, but the stomach talks. Like the stomach has the mouth, and it's
cool.
like he doesn't have a weird. It sounds the same, but it's just really cool. And the Green Goblin interpretation is really good, and that one as well. So again, that won't be something because there's 26 episodes. But if you ever get a chance, because it's really hard to find on DVD. At least it used to be. If you find a collection, I would highly recommend adding to it. It's one of those crown jewel shows that definitely got canceled because they left off on season 2, not with like a cliffhanger, like they left it open for a season 3, and they just never got it because it got canceled. But it's kind of like in the same vein too. You can look at the Tobey Maguire movies, or actually any superhero movies, where
Yeah.
the hero stays alive at the end of it. Like, yeah, his adventures continue.
Yeah.
You wanted to see what it was going to be like, but you didn't get to.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so for next week, I don't know
We're
what
going to
I'm.
be off.
Yeah, we're gonna be off too. We have family
Yeah.
stuff going on. I'm gonna try to work on you guys for just getting our stuff on Spotify and make it easier for you guys. You don't have to look at our ugly mugs. You can just
Yeah.
listen to us. I'm still trying to get over that bridge. It will be done. I'm hoping to work on that between now and then. So we're gonna take a week off. But the next time we come back, we'll come back with the retro picks.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have a new Batman issue to cover. That'll be out next week. And I do want to talk about next time we meet up. I've talked about what's going on, the summer event for Marvel, but I haven't talked about the summer event that's going on in DC right now.
Yeah.
So I'll bring that to the table next time we meet. So
Great.
till next time, guys, always good time. And we'll take, I almost said we'll take you later.
Well, we're almost 2 hours
We're
at this
almost 2
one,
hours
so
there, but we
yeah.
will see you later. I'm not. We won't take you. We'll see you.
See you guys.
See you.